kale seedlings, and then I think we're almost ready to go here. I've got my trowels, the different seeds. Great, I think we're ready to go. Thanks for your help. Hi everyone, in today's lesson, Let's Plant a Salad, we are going to learn how to seed and start lettuce, transplant some kale seedlings, learn about all of the awesome things that we can toss into our salads, and learn about why leafy greens are so good for us. Today we are here on the Klein Agri Farm just beside the Millstone River, and we are going to start planting our lettuce seeds. Hey Luke, would you come back and help me plant some lettuce seeds?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, awesome. So here, I'll give you this tray. There's 20 rows in these. And yeah, we have 4 different types of lettuce we're gonna plant today, but whatever you wanna plant works. So we're gonna do 5 rows of each lettuce and make it an even number. So yeah, today we have the ruby red lettuce. Yep. We have the bronze arrow lettuce. A romaine, so green lettuce, and then some endive. Right. So we have a whole bunch of colors that we're working with. So yeah, what we're gonna do is we have some potting soil here. So I'll just put that in the middle of us. Here's a trowel if you want, or whatever works best for you. And we'll fill these with 3/4 full of the soil, and then we'll sprinkle some of the lettuce on top. And then from there, we'll cover it with some vermiculite. So this soil was used to pot some other plants, but then those were then transplanted. So we're reusing the soil, which is awesome because it still has nutrients in it. We're gonna have a bunch of different colors, slightly different textures once these sprout, which is exciting. It'll be a real pretty salad.
Yeah, for sure.
How often do you usually eat salads, Luke?
I eat salads a lot, especially in the summertime.
Yeah, 'tis the season.
Super fresh, yummy food.
Yeah, and just remembering, we talked about it in one of our earlier lessons, but you want the soil to be the moisture of a wrung out sponge. That's a good helpful hint. Okay. Just kind of make them even if you can. Okay, so while you finish that, I think I'm going to start with the endive seeds. Remembering back to one of our earlier lessons, the trick was to plant a seed twice its width, but lettuce seeds are really tiny. So we can kind of just plant them right near the top. That's why we're doing it pretty much 3/4 in there. So I'm just gonna take a little pinch here, not too much, and I don't know which order you wanna do it, and then just gently sprinkle them in. And yeah, using your egg cartons as well. Those work great. Right now it's high summer, so once we've planted these, we're gonna put them in the greenhouse because the sun's really intense and we wanna be gentle with them. Okay, so I've finished planting my first 5 rows of endive. I think I'm going to go with the ruby red lettuce next. You can just pour the seeds into your hand too, so you have better control of them. You want those ones there too, Luke?
Yeah.
Great, yeah, you're welcome. Okay. Yeah, these seeds in comparison to the endive seeds, they're more like, kind of like the shape of a sesame seed. Rectangle shape. I find these ruby red ones to be softer. And yeah, if you're planting these outside like we are today, just make sure that you got good amount of sun protection because it's pretty hot out. Wear a hat or sunglasses. Luke's got some pretty cool purple sunglasses.
Yeah.
I like those. Okay, so I have a little bit too many seeds, so I'm just gonna... You want this? Okay.
I need a bit more. Thanks.
Nice. Planting together. Great, so those are looking good. I have 10 rows left, so I think I'm going to go back to the romaine lettuce. That's one of the lettuces we're more familiar with. You can easily find this in the grocery stores. It's commonly used in Caesar salads. Do you have a favorite type of lettuce, or?
I like the butterhead.
Okay,
Yeah.
really super soft, hey?
Yeah. Crisp.
Mm-hmm.
Juicy.
Okay.
Yeah, they all seem to grow well around here.
Yeah.
That's nice. Do the same.
Because we have that all year growing climate, which we're very lucky for.
Yeah.
What other types of lettuces are there? There's iceberg lettuce, that's a more commonly known one.
Sometimes when we cultivate microgreens, we do Mizuna.
Okay, what's that one look like when it pops up?
Good question. Hard to describe. It's kind of thin and hairy.
Okay.
It's got like a spicy taste a little bit.
It's kind of like lighter white on top.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking
about. It comes in a red
about.
form as well.
Oh, okay, Mizuna.
It's usually like a supplement in a salad green.
Okay.
Not like eaten on its own because it's kind of spicy.
Kind of like, is it, would you say it's spicier than mustard greens?
Not quite.
Not quite, okay.
It's pretty strong.
I like spicy greens in my salad. I like a lot of spice. So I find mustard fun. So yeah, maybe I should eat more Mizuna. Yeah, what do we got? Oh, right, we got the bronze arrow next.
Bronze arrow.
So yeah, when this pops, it'll look like green, red, green, yellow, hopefully, but we'll see what happens because you never know what they're gonna look like, right? You have an idea, but it's always a fun surprise when you're planting seeds. It's a pretty common vegetable that we all eat, so it's nice to learn how to actually know how to grow them ourselves because we eat them so much, right? You can kind of just always be eating salad, or at least I can be. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, these ones look even different. So the other ones, they were all kind of a light white color, but these ones are dark, like a dark gray brown. I only just came to the Clan Ager farm this week. I'd heard about it, but yeah, it's right near Westwood Lake. So it's really close to the center of town, which is awesome. It's really accessible for people to come check out and maybe volunteer if you want, or just like go on a nice little walk. It's really calm out here.
Yeah, sure is.
Now that we've put in our soil 3/4 full, and then gently sprinkled lines of our various lettuce seeds, we are going to cover it with vermiculite. Vermiculite is our word of the day. Vermiculite is clay that's heated up to a really high temperature. So as a result, it kind of pops. So Luke, did you ever eat Rice Krispies growing up? Yeah, so it's kind of like clay Rice Krispies. We're not gonna eat them, but the plants are, the seeds are. So here we have a big Rubbermaid container. And this is what the vermiculite looks like. In comparison to the soil, it's kind of like a metallic-y gray brown. And if you touch it, it's kind of spongy. And it's great because we're gonna put it on top and the seeds are gonna be able to easily break through the top. And then, as you were saying, it holds water really well. So here, I'll put this down beside us to give us some more space. And put the vermiculite in the middle. And then, yeah, I think I'm just gonna like do it with my hands.
Sure.
But however you want to do it.
It is light.
Yeah,
Very
kind of powdery.
Yeah.
You get really good at the sprinkling technique. Yeah, and really like the thing when you're planting seeds, or as my grandma told me, just like experimenting.
Yeah.
So you get the hang of it and
You
learn.
can never be wrong, you're just learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always just trying it out, see how it goes. I think I need to thicken this up a bit, actually. Yeah, you're good at this one. Yeah, and if you just squish this, it just flattens right out. So when we do add the water, it's just gonna sponge right out. Vermiculite is our word of the day. So seeds sense light levels, soil temperatures, air temperatures, soil pH, heat, and water. And they especially need heat and water. Okay, so it's time to water, therefore. So as we said, we're not going to water them on top. So Luke, would you mind just, gently pouring it in the bottom? Great. And there's slats in the bottom of these trays, so it's going to allow for that hydration, that watering to happen. Now this table's on a bit of an angle, so it's definitely getting into the second one, but that's just because of the hill. So we'll make sure it's all even out by the end of it. And great. It's kind of like a ship at this point. Yeah. So, okay, we did 5 of each row. So before we forget what's going to pop up, we are going to mark them. We have these little pegs, but popsicle sticks work just as well, or really whatever you have around your house. You could cut up like a used yogurt container. These ones actually have already been written on, so we'll just cross them out. We'll reuse them because we can. So, yeah, why not? Yeah, these ones are a little bit longer, but that's okay. And then once we've marked them properly, we'll just want to tend to them. As we said, it's the high summer right now, so we're going to put them in the greenhouse, but we're just going to check on them daily to make sure that they have enough water. And we also want to ensure airflow to keep them nice and healthy and happy. Oh, thank you.
So just going to mark them out where they begin.
Yeah.
Where each new type begins.
Great. Yeah, and we kind of planted them that way too. So it's like the green, the red, the green, the bronze, if you will. And yeah, a couple of these seeds were from the Good Earth Farm. So they're located just North Island in Black Creek. So that's nice that we have someone selling those seeds nearby. We definitely have a lot of airflow today, which is great.
Yeah.
So what about the greenhouse?
So yeah, if you have a greenhouse, sometimes there's little windows up top you can just open, or have the door open throughout the day. But if you don't have a greenhouse, then just, we could set them out during the day, or maybe you have a patio that they're on, or a windowsill, just opening up a window sort of thing. It doesn't need to be too complicated whatsoever. Thank you. I mean, if you really need some popsicle sticks, just like when we needed that ice cream bucket, you could get your parents to get you some popsicles.
Yeah,
it is summertime after all. Okay, great. These look wonderful. They're all marked. Great, so we've learned how to plant seeds, in this case lettuce, which we are growing to make a salad and eat it. However, there's so many different types of plants that we can put into our salad. So we are going to start working with some kale. Now, here in this wheelbarrow, there is some kale that's already been sprouted, and they're kind of clustered in this case. So Luke's gonna bring them onto the table, and then we're going to separate them and put them into these 6-packs. Empty, they look like this. Again, you can easily find these at garden centers or reuse them. And we're going to put some soil in them. These ones have already been filled, and then we are going to gently separate them and put them in there. And the reason why this is important is because once the plant has grown, once it has germinated, you know, busted out of its seed capsule, it needs more space to grow. And so separating them allows them to not have to compete for those nutrients. So yeah, Luke was showing me a good little trick. You know those markers that we use to mark our lettuce? If you just, well, he'll show you, he's good at this. Yeah. But in the meantime, I'm gonna fill up one of these with the soil.
I like to use a popsicle stick to plant these seedlings. I'm gonna carefully get one out. Popsicle stick used to maneuver the soil out of the way, create a little hole, a little crevice, put the root structure into the compost, and then just pack it in. Give it a new home.
Yeah, looks great.
And that's basically it.
Kind of keeps your fingers a little bit cleaner too if you're doing it barehanded, hey?
Yeah. And then once these have grown big enough, we'll transplant them out of these 6-packs into the garden, and they'll be much bigger and more mature by then.
Able to hold their own.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with this soil, I'm just having to break it up a little bit because, as we said, it was used for, you know, doing the same process with a different plant, so it was a little bit compacted. So we're just going to break it out so the water can move around in it, and the seed, once it, or the roots rather, can move around more easily. Okay, so I'm done with showing that.
We want to be as careful as possible because they're so small, so delicate. We're just moving them into their new home.
Cool.
It's like they're teenagers, they're moving out.
Teenagers moving out.
Maybe they're still kids, I don't know.
I like it. They're ready to move.
Or they just got their own room.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They got the basement.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and the cool thing with kale is that once it really does get to a more mature point, it's a very robust and strong, thickly leaved plant. So you can actually grow kale throughout the winter, even in the snow. Another good crop that can be grown here in the winter is spinach sometimes as well. Yeah, so it's really hardy and strong,
Super
whereas
hardy.
lettuce couldn't really withstand the cold temperatures. So
Yeah, unless you had like a hothouse.
yeah.
Or a greenhouse.
Okay, well I might as well start doing this a little bit too. May I have one of those? Thank you.
Could do the trick.
How do you like to eat kale when you eat it?
Usually like to steam it
Okay.
lightly
Yeah.
and just eat it like that. Or you can oil it up, put it in the oven, add some like salt and pepper and make a kale chip.
Okay, yeah.
Just super good, super crunchy. A lot of people don't like kale. It's not like the tastiest. It's pretty hardy, like you said.
Definitely.
But it's nutritious.
Well, like kale kind of became popular, what I would say 6 years ago, and everyone was like, whoa, it's so good for you, which we'll talk about later. Why? But you can also put it in like your smoothies or just cut it up and put it in your soups. One really important thing to remember with kale is that because it's so thick, it's really important when you put it in a salad, if it's raw, to like, you have to really massage the salad dressing in it so that you are able to digest it easier because it is so thick.
Yeah, it kind of like tenderizes it a little bit.
Yeah, that's one way to say it for sure. Okay, well great, so you've seen the process of us declustering them and putting them into their own bedroom downstairs or their own 6-pack hole. So yeah, once these mature more, we'll be able to put them in the garden perhaps, but we should water them one last time because that's so important. Okay, so we've successfully transplanted all of our baby kales in here so they have all of their own space. But yeah, heat and water are essential, so Luke was kind enough to go get a watering can, and so we're just gonna water these. In general, seedlings do, because they're so gentle, like to be hydrated from the bottom up, but maybe we don't necessarily have that, so just watering them with this watering can will work just as fine too. There's several different types of kale, just like there are different types of lettuce. So, you know, there's curly kale, and then there's the darker, more slender kale. There's also the purple kale. Those are the 3 I'm most familiar with. Can you think of any other ones, Luke?
Yeah, there's the dinosaur kale, which is kind of curled and
Oh,
pretty tough.
so yeah, I think they're definitely watered now. Great, thanks so much for your help.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, see you again sometime, hopefully. So we have sowed our lettuce seeds, we've transplanted some baby kales, but there's still so many other things that can go into a salad in addition to lettuce and kale. So here before us, we have a bunch of mint plants. If I take one out of this area, for example, you'll see it. Now, mint's great because it adds a lot of flavor. It's really fresh tasting, but it's also pretty powerful because of the oils within it. So you wouldn't want to add too much of this to a salad, but yeah, mint grows really, really fast and really easily. Some say it's a weed and it can be pesky if you have too much in your garden. So it's kind of similar to zucchini in that way. So this is mint and it's just a little pow of flavor. In addition to mint, dandelion's another great thing we can add to our salads. Now, dandelion is an excellent example of cut and come again. Cut and come again is an example of a harvesting technique wherein you only take, or cut in this case, what you need, and then this allows it to regenerate and grow again. We can use the leaves for salads, and as well, the yellow flowers are slightly sweet tasting. Chickweed is another plant that has a tendency of popping up. It has tender, tiny green leaves with little white star-shaped flowers, and whenever you find chickweed growing in your yard, it indicates that the soil is really fertile, and it also helps keep the soil moist. So this reminds us of our previous lessons on plant health and water and cover crops, which is great. Borage flower is another very unique and cool, funky plant that we can add to our salads. So it has a kind of purple, pinky color and a really intricate shape. Chives, they can add a slight oniony taste and they have a really tender texture. So they're really nice to add to a salad, but they don't overpower anything too much. Fennel, we can use either the bulb or the little feathery bits on top, and it adds a really fresh taste like mint, and it also kind of tastes like licorice. And finally, dill is usually a win in any salad. Like the fennel, the feathery parts add a delicate texture and a punch of flavor. But in addition to the plants that we've talked about here, there's so many other plants. So I really encourage you to be creative and see what kind of flavors and textures and colors you like to add to salads. Salads are open for so many different ideas. Before we wrap up this lesson, I just want to leave you with a little bit of information on why leafy greens are so good for us. Leafy greens, they're high in folate. And folate helps to form DNA and RNA and is involved in protein metabolism. It is critical during periods of rapid growth, such as during a pregnancy or fetal development. Leafy greens are also high in fiber. This fiber helps to stabilize our blood sugar and keeps our bowel happy, helping us to have regular bowel movements. Leafy greens are also high in vitamin C. Vitamin C helps strengthen bones, blood vessels, and cells. And finally, vitamin C helps with the formation of collagen, which keeps us healthy from viruses by strengthening our immune system. Great, we've learned how to plant a salad with our lettuce and our kale, and learning about different plants that we can add to our salads, as well as why leafy greens are so important to us. I wish you the best of luck here from the Klein Farm, and thanks again to our friend Luke for helping us out today.